Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The police in Clarendon are trying to identify a couple which was shot and killed in Canaan Heights last night. It's understood that about 9 o'clock, residents heard loud explosions and called the police. The nude body of a female was seen in a chair with multiple gunshot wounds to the upper body, while the body of the male, also with multiple gunshot wounds, was seen in a pool of blood on the floor. This killing now breaks a 3-year chain of peace within the community. In the meantime, there's another call for a zones of special operations in Maypen, Clarendon. People say crime in the area is getting out of control and residents are fearful. Councillor in the Maypen East Division, Kenneth Davis, has issued this call to the government.
I am calling on my government and the Ministry of National Security to extend the arms of the force within this parish or within this town. It is getting out of hand and people are afraid to go out. The wanton killing, it must stop. People are suffering. People are afraid to go about their business. And it does not mean that we are going to lock down the place. It means that people will be more free to go about their business. Yes, it might extend to some people who might not really like what is going on, but what my concern is to make sure the law-abiding citizens in this parish and by extension in the town go about their business freely.
41-year-old loaderman Delroy Sr. alias Weedy, who is accused of fatally stabbing a bus driver and injuring another, had his bail extended when he appeared in the St. Elizabeth Parish Court. Mr. Sr. is charged with the murder of Brent Clark, a bus driver of Montego Bay, and injuring another bus driver. It's reported that an argument developed between Mr. Sr. and the deceased at the transportation center when a knife was used to stab Mr. Clark twice in the chest. Another bus operator who tried to assist Mr. Clark had his leg fractured when Mr. Sr. used his car to hit him. Mr. Sr. is scheduled to return to court on July 5. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom has provided an update on the number of police fatal shootings.
For this current first quarter of the year, there were 34 fatal police shootings by the security services and 32 people shot and injured, making 66 people who were either shot and killed or shot and injured, and there were 9 reported deaths in custody during this first quarter. The parish of St. Catherine recorded the highest number of security force fatal shootings at 10. There were 3 parishes which had no related police incidents or JDF incidents: Manchester, Trelawney and Portland.
The Assistant Commissioner of Indicom, Hamish Campbell, added that the Commission completed 147 reports.
To point out, and it's in the report, 92% of that 147, the recommendations from the Commission was there to be no charge and no disciplinary action in respect of the officers involved in those incidents. So that relates to...
There is a concerted push by the Health Ministry to significantly reduce instances of maternal and infant mortality by 2030. According to data from 2015, maternal mortality stands at 89.9 per 100,000, while infant mortality is at 22.2 per 1,000 live births. Speaking at the official groundbreaking ceremony of 2 high-dependency units at the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital yesterday, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says by 2030, the mortality rate is expected to decline. The Health Ministry expects to reduce maternal mortality to 70% per 100,000. But what about infant mortality?
By 2030 again, end preventable deaths of newborns and children under 5 years of age, with all countries aiming to reduce neonatal mortality to at least as low as 12 per 1,000 live births, and under 5 mortality to at least as low as 25 per 1,000 live births.
The head of the European delegation to Jamaica pointed out that under the program, Jamaica has made significant strides.
The statistics in the European Union as of last year are shockingly different, because there is less than 10 deaths per 100,000 live births, and in some countries it's as low as 2 or 3. So there is a long way to go for Jamaica.
The high dependency units are being built under the program for the reduction of maternal and child mortality, which is funded by the European Union at a cost of €22 million. Director General of the PIOJ, Dr. Wayne Henry, said the funds have already helped the health sector in its drive to reduce the rate of mortality.
Funds have contributed significantly to accelerate progress related to the reduction of maternal and child mortality, where Jamaica was experiencing great challenges. To date, we have procured 6 ambulances valued at over €631,000, that's $93.7 million, which currently serve the primary healthcare sector, transporting patients between health centers and the respective regional hospitals. PROMAC has also provided much-needed medical equipment directed towards newborn and maternal health, valued at €1.5 million. That's some 224 million Jamaican dollars.
In a bid to improve the Jamaican airspace, the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, JCAA, officially opened the new air traffic control tower at the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James yesterday. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Director General of the JCAA, Nari William Singh, said the state-of-the-art facility consists of an industry-leading air traffic management system.
This new ATM environment, which is comprised of both the Sangster and NMIA towers, as well as supporting infrastructure and technologies, has positioned Jamaica as a leading air traffic management environment with the most advanced equipment available on the market to improve the safety of air operations nationally and globally. We also continue to be proud of the fact that Jamaica progressed to the position of being 20 percentage points above the world average for effective implementation of ICAO standards and recommended practices.
Mr. William Singh added that the tower is equipped with voice communications and control system which coordinates and shares voice and data across the country's air transportation network. This, he believes, will enhance the safety and efficiency of Jamaica's air transport system. Voting is underway in the Homestead Division of the South Central St. Catherine constituency. The JLP's Mark McLean and the PNP's Janet Grayson are facing off in the by-election. TVJ News spoke with both candidates earlier this morning.
People coming out little and by little, but you know, by the day go on, you will see more crowd and more people come out. The vision is to help the young youths get an education background who don't have it. Try develop the community with community centers, develop the citizen association, so that means the community can grow, have a proper association, we have a proper youth group, sports, another thing. Work, try to get the person who's not going to school go back to school, and some skill training for some of the persons.
Well, the plans for the area so far is to ensure that our roads are fixed, because our roads have been in disrepair for over 15 to 17 years, and as a result of that, that would be priority on my list.
9,471 people are registered to vote in the Homestead Division at 33 polling stations across 5 voting locations. Polls will close at 5 this afternoon. The by-election follows the death of Councillor Owen Palmer in a motor vehicle crash on March 4. After almost a 2-month delay, work is expected to begin on the drainage improvement project along the Santa Cruz Bypass Road. According to Manager of Communications and Customer Services at the National Works Agency NWA, Stephen Shaw, the $9 million project is scheduled to last 6 weeks, weather permitting. In the interim, Mr. Shaw says a temporary one-way system will be implemented. Member of Parliament for North East St. Elizabeth, Evan Redmond, highlighted the scope of the work which is to be carried out.
We'll be putting in new drains. It should be about a 3 feet wide U-drain from the fire station down to the earth drain that takes you into the morass.
The improvement to the drainage system along the Santa Cruz Bypass will significantly impact the communities of New River, Brighton and Carmel, which are usually affected by flooding. Mr. Shaw is imploring motorists and pedestrians during the construction to adhere to the instructions of posted signs and that of flag personnel. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is this afternoon calling for greater collaboration between the government and other persons.
Voluntarism is an important part of national development. And not because it is a philanthropic endeavor, not because it is voluntary. It doesn't mean that it is free. What it means is that someone chooses to absorb the cost so that those who are working.
And it's now time for our Fact or Fiction feature. We ask, is this fact or fiction? Since the national airline Air Jamaica was established in 1966, it has been sold 4 different times. And of course, you can find out the answer at the end of the sports segment of the newscast. In news overseas, at least 8 persons have died as a result of a shooting at a school in Texas Friday morning. This is the 3rd school shooting in the past 7 days and the 22nd since the beginning of the year in the United States. We go to the CNN for more.
Officials say there is an active shooter at a high school in Santa Fe, Texas. Polo Sandoval is following the story from New York. And Polo, this is just developing. We're watching these pictures come in. What do we know right now?
Well, let's get you to 2 key things that officials have confirmed right now. One, that this is an active shooter situation that is happening right now outside of Houston, about 56 kilometers southeast of Houston, Texas. And the second is that there is a lockdown in place there for that school district made up of about 4 schools, 2 elementary schools, 1 middle, and then, of course, this high school where this situation is unfolding. These are some of the first pictures of the situation that is evolving there on the ground. This is what we're hearing from witnesses, however. Multiple reports of injuries. We're working to confirm that. Also hearing that many of these students are being taken to a nearby service station where they can essentially meet up there as investigators continue to find out more about a suspect or suspects. That's something that also has not been confirmed by authorities. We also understand that nearby school districts have gone into lockdown, which is obviously a high level of vigilance that authorities put into place on these school campuses across the country during these kinds of situations. There's a neighboring school district that has locked their doors, not allowing any people either in or out, not far from this. But again, what we can confirm now, information coming from officials of an active shooter situation happening right now at Santa Fe High School.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has reacted to the shooting.
My administration is determined to do everything in our power to protect our students, secure our schools, and to keep weapons out of the hands of those who pose a threat to themselves and to others. Everyone must work together at every level of government to keep our children safe. May God heal the injured, and may God comfort the wounded, and may God be with the victims and with the victims.
And in sports, the leading junior sprinter over 200 meters in the world this season, Jamaica's Christopher Taylor, is a late addition to the international section of Saturday's Jamaica International Invitational Meet at the National Stadium. Meet director and athlete liaison officer Donald Quarry has revealed that Taylor, the Calabar High standout, will be lining up in the men's 200 meters following a request from his school. Taylor is the leading under
Even Christopher Taylor will be running in the invitational 200 meters.
Wow.
I got a letter from the school, from the head coach, requesting a possibility of the 2 or the 4. We were full in the 4, and we were able to accommodate him in the 200. And you have to bear in mind, he has run 20.3 so far.
Right.
So that's something that we're looking forward to, as we need some more younger, developed athletes, and
coming through.
It will be interesting for him.
Taylor is the leading under 2,200-meter sprinter in the world so far this year, with a time of 20.35 seconds. Meanwhile, Quarry has sought to make it clear that Taylor will be competing as an amateur at the meet. And finally this afternoon, the answer to our fact or fiction feature. And we asked, is this fact or fiction? Since the now defunct Jamaican airline Air Jamaica was established in 1996, it has been sold more than 4 times, and that's fiction. Air Jamaica was sold only 3 times in 1994, 2004, and 2010. And on May 1, 1966, Air Jamaica, the national airline, started flying its first 2 routes between the island and the United States of America. In 1994, due to continual financial losses, the airline was privatized and turned over to Gordon Bush Stewart as he acquired the group. And in 2004, the airline had severe financial losses, which led to the Jamaican government regaining control of the airline. But again, financial losses forced the Jamaican government to sell Air Jamaica to Caribbean Airlines. And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Do remember to join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the entire team, good night.